You've seen the states that are bleeding dry. You've seen the economic graveyards where your capital goes to die. Now, it's time to talk about where the smart money is actually flowing in 2026. There is a massive reshuffling of wealth happening in America right now. People and businesses are fleeing high-tax death spirals and moving to a few elite states that actually reward success instead of punishing it. I've analyzed the data, and there are 5 specific states where you can build wealth faster than anywhere else on earth. If you're ready to stop being a tax slave and start being a wealth builder, hit that subscribe button right now. Smash the like button. Let's look at the winners. The first state on the list is the absolute juggernaut of wealth creation, Florida. This isn't just about sunshine and palm trees. This is about an economic powerhouse that has mastered the art of attracting capital. Florida is one of the few states in the country with 0 state income tax. Let that sink in. If you're a high earner living in New York or California, moving to Florida is effectively giving yourself a 10% to 13% raise the second you cross the border. That is money that stays in your brokerage account, compounding for your future instead of being wasted by a bloated state government. But the 0% income tax is just the beginning. Florida has seen a massive brain drain from the north, with Wall Street firms and tech giants moving their headquarters to Miami and West Palm Beach. Why? Because the regulatory environment is pro-growth. It is significantly easier and cheaper to start and scale a business here. In 2026, Florida continues to lead the nation in net domestic migration. People aren't just visiting, they are bringing their businesses, their families, and their bank accounts. Let's look at the real estate fundamentals. While other markets are stagnant, Florida's demand remains white hot because the supply cannot keep up with the thousands of people moving in every single day. This creates a floor for property values. Even with higher interest rates, the sheer volume of cash buyers moving from expensive states keeps the market resilient. If you are an investor, Florida is a goldmine for rental income and commercial development. The state government has a massive budget surplus, meaning they aren't going to come after your pockets to fix their mistakes. In Florida, you keep what you earn, and you live in a state that actually wants you to succeed. If you want to build a legacy in a place where the wind is at your back, Florida is the place to be. It's not just a state, it's a tax-free fortress for your wealth. If Florida is the king of capital, Texas is the undisputed emperor of industry and opportunity. There is a reason why the world's richest man moved his headquarters here, and it isn't the BBQ. Texas is a beast. Like Florida, it boasts 0 state income tax, but it couples that with an industrial and corporate infrastructure that is unmatched in the Western world. When you move to Texas, you aren't just moving to a state, you are moving into the future of the American economy. In 2026, the Texas Triangle, the area between Dallas-Fort Worth, Houston, and Austin, has become the primary engine of U.S. GDP growth. The state has a right-to-work philosophy and a regulatory environment that is surgically designed to get out of the way of entrepreneurs. If you want to build a factory, a tech startup, or a massive real estate empire, Texas says yes, while California says wait 10 years for a permit. That speed to market is the difference between a billionaire and a bankrupt dreamer. Let's talk about the cost of living and wealth retention. While property taxes in Texas are higher than the national average, the lack of income tax and the significantly lower cost of land mean your all-in cost of living is still a bargain compared to the coastal graveyards. Your dollar simply goes further. You can buy a palace in the suburbs of Dallas for what you'd pay for a closet in Manhattan. That extra cash flow doesn't just sit there, it gets deployed into the markets. Texas is also the energy capital of the world. As we navigate the global energy shift in 2026, Texas sits at the center of both traditional oil and gas and the new renewable frontier. This creates a diversified, recession-resistant economy. If one sector dips, 3 others rise. When you invest in Texas real estate or business, you are betting on a state that is unapologetically pro-wealth. It is a land of giants, and if you have the stomach for competition, it is the best place on earth to scale your net worth. The third state on my list is the absolute sleeper hit of the decade, Tennessee. For years, people overlooked this state, but the secret is officially out. In 2026, Tennessee emerged as a premier destination for anyone serious about capital preservation. Why? Because they took a bold stand and completely eliminated their Hall income tax. Today, Tennessee has zero state income tax on wages and zero tax on interest and dividends. This makes it a paradise not just for workers, but for retirees and investors who live off their portfolios. But Tennessee's secret weapon isn't just the tax code, it's the cost of doing business. Nashville has transformed into a massive hub for healthcare, finance, and entertainment. It's no longer just about country music. It's about a professional ecosystem that is attracting the best talent from across the country. The state has one of the lowest debt per capita ratios in the United States. While Illinois and New Jersey are drowning in pension debt, Tennessee is fiscally sound. This means you aren't waking up every morning wondering when the government is going to surprise you with a new tax to cover their bankruptcy. The real estate play in Tennessee is particularly interesting. Nashville and Knoxville are seeing massive appreciation, but the property taxes remain incredibly low compared to the Northeast. You get the benefit of a booming urban center with a rural tax profile. This allows you to build true equity. When your property value goes up in Tennessee, you actually get to keep the gain because the state isn't trying to claw it back through aggressive levies. Moreover, the quality of life is acting as a massive magnet. We are seeing a culture migration. People are tired of the chaos in major coastal cities. They want safety, they want community, and they want their money to mean something. Tennessee provides all three. If you are looking for a state that combines Southern hospitality with a cutthroat, pro-growth economic engine, Tennessee is your answer. It is a state that understands that if you treat capital well, it stays. If you treat it poorly, it leaves. And right now, the capital is flooding into Tennessee. The fourth state you need to be looking at is Nevada. For decades, people thought Nevada was just a playground for tourists in Las Vegas. They were wrong. In 2026, Nevada has transformed into a strategic fortress for wealth, especially for those fleeing the wreckage of California. With zero state income tax and no corporate income tax, Nevada is the ultimate escape hatch for West Coast capital. It's not just about gambling anymore. It's about a massive industrial and technological pivot that is making early investors incredibly rich. The real story here is the Silicon Highlands, the area around Reno and Sparks. Massive tech giants like Tesla, Apple, and Google have poured billions into data centers and manufacturing plants here. They didn't do it for the desert view. They did it because Nevada offers a regulatory environment that actually respects the speed of business. While California buries entrepreneurs in red tape and exit taxes, Nevada welcomes them with open arms and a 0% tax bill. If you are a business owner or a freelancer, moving across that state line is the single most profitable pivot you can make. But let's talk about the real estate opportunity. Nevada's geography is unique. Because the federal government owns a massive percentage of the land, the amount of developable land is actually quite limited. In Economics 101, we call that a supply constraint. When you have a massive influx of people from California and a limited amount of land to build on, what happens to prices? They skyrocket. In 2026, Nevada real estate isn't just a place to live, it's a high-growth asset. Even Las Vegas has evolved. It has become a professional sports mecca and a legitimate corporate hub, diversifying away from just gaming. This creates a stable, year-round economy. When you combine zero income tax with a booming tech sector and a constrained housing market, you get a perfect storm for wealth building. Nevada allows you to play the game of capitalism at the highest level without the government taking a 13% rake off every dollar you earn. In my book, that's a winning bet every single time. The fifth and final state on my list is the ultimate private fortress, Wyoming. This isn't just a state with beautiful mountains. It is the most business-friendly tax haven in the Western Hemisphere. Wyoming has zero state income tax, zero corporate income tax, and zero gross receipts tax. But here is the real kicker for the truly wealthy. Wyoming has some of the strongest asset protection and trust laws in the world. In 2026, it has become the Switzerland of the Rocky Mountains. High net worth individuals aren't just moving to Wyoming for the scenery. They are moving there because Wyoming respects privacy and ownership. The state allows for close LLCs and asset protection trusts that make it incredibly difficult for creditors or frivolous lawsuits to touch your hard-earned capital. While states like California are trying to implement wealth taxes and tracking your every move, Wyoming is building a wall around your assets. If you are a founder who just had a massive exit or an investor with a significant portfolio, Wyoming is where you go to ensure that your wealth survives for generations. Let's talk about the math of staying put versus moving to a winner. If you are making $500,000 a year in a high-tax state, you are losing roughly $50,000 to $70,000 every single year in state taxes. Over 20 years, even at a modest 7% return, that tax waste would have compounded into over $2.1 million. You are literally paying the price of a private island just for the privilege of living in a state that doesn't appreciate you. The final verdict: the map of America is being redrawn. We are seeing a great divide between the states that get it and the states that don't. Florida, Texas, Tennessee, Nevada, and Wyoming are the winners of 2026 because they understand one fundamental rule of the universe. Capital goes where it is welcome and stays where it is well treated. You have a choice. You can stay in a declining ecosystem and watch your purchasing power evaporate, or you can move to where the growth is. You can be a victim of the tax man, or you can be a builder of a legacy. Success isn't just about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Stop being a resident of a graveyard and start being a citizen of a sanctuary. The data is clear. The trend is real. Now, get out there and make it.